Hello, everybody. It's me, Nick Anderson, and I know what you're thinking. It's been a while since the last episode, and I did get better looking. It's true. I'm just kidding. Calm down. We have a very exciting show for you tonight, and it is great to be back. Season 2 comes with a name change, so I wanted to play our old theme song one very last time before we change it. It is changing to the Nick Anderson Show because that's a little bit shorter than the Wednesday night show starring Nick Anderson, which was, it's kind of long. So, that was your last time seeing that wonderful intro. And as always, we're going to start the show with some beer. So, let's see what we got here. Tonight we're drinking a Summit Saga IPA. This is from St. Paul, which is just right down the road here. And there's only one of these left. It was a 12 pack I bought. I think I bought it 3 or 4 hours ago. So, I'm kidding again. Jeez. I'm not hammered. Although it is election time. But anyways, let's take a sip of this beer, see what we got here. That's tasty. It's another IPA, and I know last season I got some flack because everyone was like, "You're always drinking IPAs on your show. You got to drink something else." Well, guess what? It's my show, so I'll drink whatever I want to, unless you know someone out there that wants to sponsor the beer. This season, I'm really pushing for sponsors. It does cost a little bit of money each month to run this show, and I'm not looking to make money. I just want to be able to pay that. So we're going to do sponsors for $10 per show. If you have a birthday, you want to give a shout out to somebody, if you've got a beer that you want me to try, I'll try it for $10, and you don't even have to buy me the beer. I'll use the $10 for the beer. Or if you own a brewing company, $10 or nothing, you could just send me beer. I'd probably just do it for free then. But I'm looking for sponsors. So if you want to sponsor something on the show, or you want to talk about a new song release, or you want to put an ad on the show, or you want to put your stand-up special for a few jokes on here, go ahead. You can just message me on whatever you're watching on. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment. If you're watching on Facebook, just send me a message and we'll get you sponsored up here. Tonight we have Parker Reed on the show. Parker Reed is from Eau Claire, and he is a journalist, a musician, and most recently a YouTuber. He's become a friend of mine over the past few years, purely just because we kept seeing each other in the music scene, and yeah, he's a great guy. I'm excited to bring him on the show tonight, and I don't even know what we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna hang out, chat about stuff, and see where the conversation takes us. So I'm gonna bring Parker Reed in here. Hey Parker, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Nick. Thanks for having me.
Good, you bet, you bet. All right. So Parker, I kind of introduced you a little bit here, as a journalist, a musician, a YouTuber. Tell us about that a little bit. So journalist, what does that mean? What do you journal for?
Well, I'm a reporter for a daily newspaper in Chippewa Falls called the Chippewa Herald, and some of my stuff appears in the Lear Telegram in Eau Claire. And I also write on the side for Volume 1. And the landscape nowadays means newsrooms are very small, so I write about just about everything from election time, stuff like local elections, to like the presidential stuff, all the way to like charity concerts and events around the community. So try to wear all hats with that. That's what I went to school for. So that's what I'm doing day to day.
Awesome. And where did you go to school?
I graduated from UW Eau Claire in 2018 with a degree in journalism.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And then you must have gotten a job in town, like just right snap after that.
Yeah, so after I graduated in May of 2018, I was like, I'm going to take a few months off, take the summer off. But around July, my friend Travis, who was my roommate for a couple of years, he had a job at the Herald around the same time. And a job came up, a job opening, so I applied for it. And then coincidentally, he needed a roommate at the same time. So within a week, I got that job, and we moved in together, and we're coworkers. So yeah,
Wow.
I've had that job since September of 2018.
Wow. Congratulations. That's super exciting.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a lot of life change at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it. And I've read several of your articles, and I really like your writing style. Um, it has a lot of flavor, and I really like that.
Thanks, man. I try to add as much as I can without
Yeah.
pissing anybody off.
All right, and then on to musician. It was the next thing I had here. So explain to me your musical projects.
So I've been in bands since I was like 13 or 14. Was like a hard rock, angry drop D kid for a while, and then
So
most.
explain what an angry drop D kid is, because that's a
So
great joke.
it's the great epiphany every 13-year-old who loves Metallica has, where if you drop the lowest string on your guitar down a whole step, it sounds super heavy no matter what you do. You can strum open chords and it sounds really badass. So then you write every song in drop D and you kind of get over that trend after a couple of years. But for a while, it's everything.
I had that exact
Yeah.
same thing. I think the first song I ever wrote was like I discovered how to tune my guitar low like that, and then I was like, now I'm angsty enough.
It's funny that we're angsty at like 14 when we have the least responsibility and no
Yeah,
rent.
yeah,
It
yeah.
happens though.
I
So
hide all my angst under my hat now.
yeah, dude, your hat has become iconic. It's in the logo now. You can't get rid of it.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you. That's a compliment.
And when after I got out of bands, around 2017, I was like, I want to do a project that's just me and maybe a little bit chiller. I kind of got all that out in
Okay.
high school. So I released an EP in 2018 called A Love Letter to Sarah Michelle. And then another one the following year called Music for the Overly Sentimental. It's basically a 90s sounding kind of pop rock thing. And I don't love the 90s, so I'm kind of annoyed when anyone ever says it's from the 90s. But it's kind of become my thing. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
And see, it's funny that you say that because I remember, I think the first compliment I gave you about your EP was that it sounded like the 90s.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from, but
I
it's
think it's
there.
your voice, man. So, I mean, I know I've told you you sound like Billy Joe Armstrong to me, the lead singer of Green Day. Do
Mhm.
you get that comparison a lot, or?
I get that comparison a lot. And in the recent stuff I've been doing, I've been getting the lead singer of Death Cab for Cutie a lot for some reason.
Okay,
Maybe
okay,
a little bit more nasal, a little more Axl Rosy sounding on
sure,
his voice, but I have gotten that comparison quite a few times.
sure, sure.
Mhm.
And then lastly here, a YouTuber. You just started um, the YouTubing,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, the YouTubing is that a
Yeah,
verb? Yes.
yeah. It's not a winter sport, but it is a verb. It sounds like a winter sport. You know what?
Yeah,
We should start a YouTubing YouTube channel.
a YouTubing YouTube channel.
Yeah, like live
That's like
stream
the
tubing.
that's like the most meta thing ever. But yeah, I
Yeah,
would do a tubing thing. We usually just get way too much snow, and then it's really hard to tube.
yeah.
But move to like Colorado or something, it might work out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I started doing that about 2.5 months ago. And no matter what aspect of media I get involved in, I always describe myself as a fan first. Like I love to
Okay.
write about and talk about and collect things with about and pertaining to things I enjoy doing. So with the PR media, basically I talk about new releases, mainly 4K releases, and new album releases and reviews on those. And basically I was doing that already, but just with my friends, and they started to get annoyed because I talked about it so much. So I am. It kind of coincided with two of my really good friends moving away at the same time, and I found myself with a lot of free time and a lot of things to say. So I decided to do this, and I've been doing it daily for about the past 2.5 months.
Awesome. And how's it been going as far as how the channel is doing and things like that?
YouTube is a confusing landscape, like most things. It's run by the mysterious algorithm. So you could put a lot of effort into a video and it might get 50 views, or put minimal effort into something and it gets 1,000.
Yeah.
It's really hard to know, and it's really you have to catch a niche and
Yeah.
catch like those keywords in the description for it to kind of take off. But overall, the response has been really good, and people can tell when you're passionate about something. And I
Hmm.
always go back to the quote: "People love what other people are passionate about." So as long as you stay passionate about it, so eventually people will pay attention to it.
Yeah. You have great thumbnails for your videos, I've
Thanks,
noticed.
man. That's
Are you
important.
that's the like one thing all the blogs say is like if you're on YouTube, you got to have great thumbnails.
Like
And you have great thumbnails.
Like you have to create your own. Like never just wait till the video is finished uploading and then like pick one of the still shots that they do,
Right.
because you're always going to be caught in the face like or something.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing people see, and 90% of the people who watch your videos aren't going to be subscribed to your channel. You got to give them a reason to click on it.
Right. And how many subscribers are you at now?
About 226.
See, that's pretty darn good because the band, I think we just hit 500, and then I posted that we hit 500, and we went down to 497. And
people like those self-congratulatory.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. I like posted that and then looked back because I was like, oh, I'll probably get one or two more, and then they were gone, and I was like, oh.
And you guys make great videos.
Well, thank you. My thumbnails aren't as good as yours, but my point is that we've been making videos for 5 years and have 500 subscribers, and you've been just kicking it in 220 or whatever you had said there. That's something to be proud of. So keep it up.
But to be fair to you guys, I post every day, and
True.
you guys put a lot of money, time, and effort into like one that you guys have to feed off of for like a month.
That's true.
Or a couple months, depending on your single release. So you guys are doing really well as well.
That's true. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
All right. Anything else that you wanted to say about being a journalist, musician, YouTuber? We'll kind of go back over some of those topics a little bit, but is there any other things that you wanted to mention that are really big in your life, hobbies, or we're just trying to get to know you?
For sure. So what I love about all three of those things is that they oftentimes can intertwine. Like I'm a musician. I've been a musician for quite a while. I met you through just like playing around, and that fed into being able to do a couple stories about you for the Herald.
Thank you.
Yeah. I enjoy talking to you and getting your story out there. So that can feed into that. And being a musician, you can kind of get to know other artists around, and then I can make a top 10 albums from Eau Claire that you should check out video that I did a month or so ago.
Yeah, that's a good video.
Thanks, man. And a big goal of all that is to shine a light on things that don't really get noticed as much or don't get as much attention as they deserve. Because there's a lot of talented people in this city, and a lot of talented people in general and generally only a handful get noticed and get a lot of attention. So I try to shine some light on that. And besides all of those things, generally I just love hanging out with my friends and watching movies, and I loved going to concerts and sporting events, but for the past 7-8 months that's been null and void. So
yeah,
just a lot of media recently.
Nice. And that's one thing I wanted to say about you too that I really appreciate is guys like you that do journaling and do reviews on YouTube and things. That's a lot of really selfless stuff that you do, because you're writing other people's stories when you have your own stories sitting there as well. And that's got to be hard, and it's really selfless of you, I think, and that's really cool. So like it's pretty cool when you call me and ask if you can do a story about being a musician in a pandemic, when I know that you are also a musician in a pandemic.
Thanks.
But you're choosing to tell my part of the story. I think that's pretty darn cool. So thanks for doing that, and thanks for being such a selfless and big part of the music and arts community, helping tell all those stories, because it does make a huge difference and definitely makes those people like myself feel really good.
Thanks, man. And it all goes back to being a fan first. Like I was a fan of yours before I knew you personally. So getting to do all that stuff is exciting for me, just on like a fanboy perspective. And like I listen to yours and a lot of my friends' music just casually throughout the day, and I would even if I didn't know who you were.
That's cool. So
it's cool when those things kind of intersect.
I did want to mention, so I was talking to you the other day, Parker and I were at a music video shoot for TYB and Miles Boulevard, and we were sitting next to each other. I laughed so hard when you said this, but you said the first time you saw me play, you thought I was a douche.
You did. When you're playing the Freebird solo and you got on your knees and you're like leaning backwards, I think it was at the Plus, I was like, God damn, does this guy know where he is right now?
Yeah.
And that's happened with some like my favorite bands I've seen live for the first time. I thought they're douchey. But you're a really good player. Maybe I was jealous.
I think I was kind of douchey.
You were in a rockish band at the time too. Like you guys played with Saving Abel.
Yeah.
So people, your perception of somebody at the beginning isn't always the case.
That's true.
So you got to get to know people first.
I'm glad that you don't think I'm a douche anymore.
Only sometimes.
That's fair. I think that you're in the majority there. Everyone can be douchey once in a while. Yeah, exactly. So I want to get into some of the collections you have.
Okay.
You're very public about the cool things that you collect, which
Is
I like. I'm gonna start with my favorite online collection of yours, which is guitars.
mhm.
Um, how many? Well, just tell me about your guitar collection. I'll leave it open.
So my guitar collection used to be bigger, but over the time, I've really gravitated towards a few key pieces that I use all the time, and I feel guilty if I have a guitar or a movie or a record that doesn't get played. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, why is it sitting around collecting dust, and I have to move it again in 12 months when I move apartments? So right now, my main two guitars I'm using is I've played a lot of acoustic for the past couple years. So Gibson J45, which you of course own as well, and then a Martin D28. They're basically the tried and true hallmarks of acoustic guitar for the past 75 years. So those are my two mains. And
Yeah, and
then,
for the people who don't know guitars, basically, so the Gibson J45, every single movie you've ever seen where there's a guitar player playing an acoustic guitar that's dark colored,
mm,
that's that guitar. It's the Gibson J45. And then the other one that he had said, anytime you see a light colored guitar, that's that other one. I mean,
mm,
that's just really general speak, but
mm.
I mean, I'm kind of
that's
right with that.
that's pretty accurate. Like Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Paul McCartney have all used those kinds of guitars.
Yeah.
And then electric guitars, I'm a huge AC/DC fan. So I use Angus Young Signature Gibson SG, and then a Gibson SG Standard, and then a Fender Richie Kotzen Fender Telecaster. Those are my main electrics. So,
Richie Kotzen, is that a guy's name or is that?
oh, you're hurting me inside. Yeah, Richie Kotzen's in a band called the Winery Dogs with Billy Sheehan and Mike Portnoy,
Okay.
and they're basically kind of proggy hard rock, and he's an '80s '90s guy.
Okay. But I thought you didn't like the 90s.
I'm gonna stick with the '80s. He was in Poison in the '90s, so it wasn't his best time.
Okay. Well, he was
Yeah.
just having nothing but a good time, probably.
Oh, the puns are strong. And can I say, I'm only slightly disappointed that my fellow journalist and your alter ego, Rich Nanderson, isn't joining us.
Yeah, you know, I got to do more stuff with Rich Anderson. You know, it wasn't as big of a hit as I thought it would be, and I was quite committed to it. I actually shaved off everything. So, for those of you who don't know, I did a video where I have an alter ego named Rich Anderson, and he did street reporting. And I actually shaved my whole beard except for the mustache off for that. So it's like, you know, to do one of those videos, I have to really commit to it.
For sure. And going back to guitar collections, those are mine, but can you tell the people a little bit about what you have? Because I've loved
Yeah.
fawning over your guitars too.
Yeah. So I've got a lot. My prized possession is my Reverend Tricky Gomez 290. That's the green guitar that people always see me playing. It's got two P90 pickups in it, which P90 pickups are real dirty sounding. They're real noisy. They're hard to control. And you gotta treat them like a fine wine. Oh, my camera just timed out.
It
That's
happens
okay.
sometimes.
I gotta back up.
Oh,
Um,
look at that quality. I love it.
and then I've got a Gibson SG Standard.
Mm. I'm not getting any audio from you right now. I heard the clicking. Oh, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So I've got a Gibson Les Paul Jr. double cut.
Mhm.
And then I've got a Godin Club King, which is a semi-hollow body.
Very
So
nice.
that's kind of my collection. Oh, and then I've got the Gibson, the J45 acoustic.
Do you still have the Skinny Lovers logo on your Reverend?
I do not. I took it
You
off.
took it off. I saw it last show. I was like, where the hell is it? That was your trademark, man.
You liked it on there?
I did like it on there. Kind of pertained it to you. Like, I can see that guitar anywhere, but it's more recognizable when you have that.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to put it back on there.
It is hard to put a sticker on the front of such a nice guitar.
I was
but
worried that the sun would fade the rest. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep it forever, so maybe I should just put it on there.
So you're scared of a sunspot on the guitar maybe 10 years on the line, but Willie Nelson's playing guitar with holes in it, and he doesn't care, man.
Yeah, I'm not as cool as Willie Nelson.
None of us are, but it's something to aspire to.
True. And then the next collection that I like from you, you've got a Blu-ray collection.
Careful now, it's a 4K Blu-ray collection.
A 4K Blu-ray collection. I'm going to fix my camera here while you start talking about that.
Sounds good. So, and it's all great. My mom calls them DVDs still. And basically that is, I've collected 4K Blu-rays for about the past 2.5 years, just because I kind of got obsessed with that format and the high fidelity of it. And over the course of 2.5 years, I've accumulated about 500 or 600 just 4K Blu-rays, and then just like a few hundred normal Blu-rays, and then some miscellaneous DVDs of just movies that I've never made the format jump to Blu-ray or 4K yet. So I've been collecting those for quite a while. I like to say that's where most of my paycheck goes, is to new movies. Like I had to drop a few $100 online the other day just to get some new releases. And I don't know, I just really enjoy collecting them. It's nice to have something tangible to have and collect and to hold at the end of the day, because I could do like Amazon movies or like Movies Anywhere and have them digitally and be none the wiser. But to know at the end of the day there's a physical disc there is something that I like, and I think it makes it kind of worth it. And it's fun to look at it just on a shelf. Oh, we don't have the audio again, Nick. That's all right.
Hello?
There you go.
All right. It's episode 1, season 2. This is bound to
we're
happen.
working out the kinks.
We're working out the kinks. I got some new gear so that you could see me in crystal clear HD. And, that's what happens. What I was going to say, though, is I feel like our generation might be the last one that likes physical things. Like, because I really like having CDs, albums, movies, like Xbox games. I like going to the store and peeling off. That's mostly what I like, is peeling off the plastic. But like, I like having the physical thing.
I like
about it.
And you mentioned that I post a lot about it. It's basically a nice way of saying I flex way too much about it. So I just like having, I can like look over to my left or my right and see just like a big shelf of movies. It's like a library almost.
It sounded like you said look over to your right and see a big shelf of boobies.
Dude, that would be preferred at this point. It's single way too long.
All right, now we have to mark this episode rated PG-13.
That's true. It's only for those mature people.
So I want to give a few shout outs here, and this would be if you wanted to, not you, Parker, but if anyone out there wants to put a commercial on the show or have me talk about something. I'm doing that first timers on the show doing this. It would be just $10. $10. We'll talk about it on the show. And right now we're going to do that for Parker. And we're going to put up some stuff to look up. So on YouTube, we were talking before about his channel where he posts a video a day. That's PR Media. So you can check that out, and you can find all of those great videos that he's making. This is where you'll find what we were talking about, the best 10 albums in Eau Claire. You'll also see him review movies and things of the like. So other than that, there's also his music. So you'll want to check out Parker Reed on YouTube just by typing in Parker Reed. And what I did to find him is I did Parker Reed, and then I typed in the song Lucid Dream, and then I actually created a link that's real easy for you guys. I'm going to put that up here. And so if you put this into your web browser, bit.ly/PR Lucid Dream, that'll take you right to Parker's latest music video. And this is a really cool music video. I recommend watching it on your TV because it's really well done. Production quality is fantastic. There's lots of real cool shots of him in alleyways and such. So
sneaking.
I mean, there is.
Right? That's not untrue.
It's cool. It's a cool video. Let's talk about that video because I really like that video.
So that video was done really last minute. So I had that new track Lucid Dream off the EP Music for the Overly Sentimental, and a guy named Blake Enerson did it for me, and he also did the music video for the Brady Luke Band song "Take a Little Ride." So if you ever need music videos done really well, really good price and really good quality, hit up Blake Enerson. And to his credit, he was very patient with me on that video because I had forgotten to secure a female actress for that video. And he showed up to my house and he's like, "So where's the girl?" And I'm like, "What girl?" So thankfully, was making some rapid texts to some of my friends. And while we were shooting some of the videos indoors, my friend Emma stepped up at the very last minute and came downtown and shot those shots with us without any rehearsal. She hadn't even heard the song yet. So because that video was recorded like a month or so before the record came out.
That's awesome.
And I told
Friends are good.
Blake that I wanted to kind of replicate the night look of the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I can see that.
So some of those darker shots with the colored lighting were off of that because I'm a huge Ryan Gosling simp. So
you're like, so I always see stuff. I know you like Ryan Gosling, but the movie Drive, you really liked that movie?
I love Drive. I like to say the holy trinity of the Gosling is La La Land, Blade Runner 2049, and Drive. Yeah, like I have all three of those movie theater posters above my collection, like 2 feet from me right now.
Huh.
But yeah, to say I like Ryan Gosling would be drastically understating it.
What would you ask him if you met him?
I don't think I'd ask him anything because I know so much. I just kind of look and taking his aura, taking his vibe, because he's a very soft-spoken guy as it is.
So you just kind of like just be next to him.
It's like looking at a painting in a museum. You just kind of want to appreciate it. It doesn't need to talk back to you. You just kind of take it all in.
Okay. Huh.
Nick's trying to like.
I'm trying to play it out in my head how that would go because I think you'd see him and you'd just kind of look at him.
I would just freeze. Like if you saw your idol in public, you'd just be like,
That's true.
Yeah, nothing you say is going to make a greater impact. Is going to make as great of an impact on them as just seeing them will make on you. So,
see, I always think if I met my greatest idol, that I would have to be best friends with him. So I'd have one sentence that I could wow him with that would make us best friends.
But who is your idol, and what would you say to him or her?
I don't know. I would. So Dave. Actually, I do know Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is the person I would most like to meet. Probably he's probably my biggest rock idol. And when I went to, the only reason I know what I'd say to him is because he's had an interaction with me, but he doesn't know it, and that sounds creepy as hell. I went to a Foo Fighters concert and I had a sign because I kept seeing that they were having people come on stage and sing with them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a sign and said, "Can I come on stage and sing Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll with you?" Because I knew that they knew that song. I had seen him play it in videos, but I also didn't want to take away from the band playing the original songs because I hate when people go up on stage and then you have to hear them sing it, and it's like, no, I paid to hear the band sing it, not some guy. So I didn't want to ruin that for anyone. But anyway, so I have this sign and I'm holding it up, and he looks at me and he points right at me and he goes, "No."
What show was this?
It was in Minneapolis for the Concrete and Gold tour.
Concrete and Gold tour. I was at the.
Or no, it was in Madison.
Madison. I was at the Sonic Highways tour at the XL Center like 4 or 5 years ago.
I was at that too. Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
And you're saying you don't want to take away from like the band singing it. Like they don't care. Like, because they were like, remember they were throwing out like Van Halen covers. They played "Ain't Talking About Love" and Panama.
So the fans care though, because the fans would. I don't know.
Dave Grohl doesn't care. Like, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, I've seen bands before where they have some random dude sing it, and when they don't sing it well, then that sucks. But if they sing it well, it's kind of cool.
I suppose, because then you're kind of happy for that guy or whatever. And
that happened for me the second time I saw Avenged Sevenfold. They played a song called Chapter 4, and they brought some dude up, and he killed it, and it was cool.
Huh.
But I would have maybe preferred to hear the actual singer sing it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But you can be selfish for once. They'll play more shows. People can go see them again.
Fair enough. Have you ever been brought on stage to sing or play?
No,
Have you ever
I get,
tried?
I've never tried. Um, I don't know. It doesn't really, now knowing what a technical nightmare it would be from
Sure.
a musician standpoint, knowing that I would be able to hear myself because they all probably have in ears and there's probably not a lot of monitors on stage and you'd be nervous. Being nervous and not being able to hear yourself are like torturous thoughts to most musicians. So that, and I would get too shy to do it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Have you?
I have not.
Oh,
Um, no.
I need Green Day to tour again so they can ask someone to get someone up there to do Longview again.
That's my second that I would love to meet Billy Joe Armstrong.
Billy Joe's wild, dude.
Have you met him?
No, but he's just like an interesting guy. Like
I don't
he's
think we'd get along, but I think he's the coolest.
he's a typical punk. I'm pretty sure he has a temper, but that's what makes some of their music interesting.
Yeah, their music's fantastic. I don't think he'd like me very much though.
Why would you guys vibe?
Look at my hat.
What's wrong with your hat?
I feel like you just look at my hat and be like, "You're not punk."
Dude, he wore a crown on stage for the entire American Idiot tour during King
That's
for a Day.
punk.
That's not punk.
Why
Kings
not?
are kings are monarchies, so they want the exact opposite of a monarchy.
Maybe he was wearing it ironically.
You seem to have a very love-hate relationship with your hat and the persona you've created. Is
You
this
know
accurate?
what? No, I love the hat. I just think it definitely puts out a certain vibe.
What vibe is that?
Um, I don't know how to put it into words. It puts it put it. I'd have to think about that. I really like the hat and the glasses. That's why when the band started and I had the hat and glasses idea, I thought, you know, I want something on stage that distinguishes me, and I want it to be something where there was a lot of backlighting happening at venues and stuff.
Mm.
So I wanted to be able to have the stage feel like you were at a big concert.
Mm.
And when you're at a big concert and they have backlighting and stuff, the silhouettes of the people look really cool. So the silhouette with a hat is super cool too. There's a bunch of reasons that I chose it, and I had some this manager out of Nashville was talking to me, and he's like, are you sure you want to have the hat and glasses on the logo? Because then you got to keep wearing it. And I was like, yep. And he was like, hey, I agree. It's just like Elton John. Like when you think of Elton John, you think of the rose-colored glasses. It's the same thing. And I was like, yeah. So I love the hat. But yeah, you're right. I do poke fun at it. I should stop that.
Well, you're kind of leaning into the whole vibe right now. You got your IPA and your discolored couch, a
Yep.
sitting thinking man behind you.
Yep.
You've got a good image. Like I know it's sometimes hard when you have that image to break out of it. Like pretty much every band has gone through that crisis. Like every heavy band in the '80s that had long hair, all shaved their hair and tried to be a different thing.
Yeah.
But are you going to change it up when you do the Skinny Lover punk record?
No, no, this is who I am. This is my look, and I can redefine what the look means, but I'm not going to change the look.
I don't blame you for that, man. But if you ever want to like shave your head like me,
I
and
heard.
then and then take the head off, you could totally be punk,
Yeah.
stereotypical punk.
You turned the interview around on me.
Dude, I like knowing
You're such a
stuff about you, man.
journalist.
That's my normal place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard thing about interviewing someone that likes to interview people.
Yeah. Yeah, that is difficult. And I didn't even know what to say. I still am a little baffled by your question. I don't know why I poke fun at the hat sometimes.
I think
Maybe I'm not fully comfortable with it yet. But
Do you
I'm
feel
getting there.
boxed in by it?
Not at all. I think sometimes I worry way too much about what other people think of me, and sometimes wearing a hat like this, I worry like, people, do they think this about me because I'm wearing this? But that I also have to be like that because I want people to think a certain thing about me. So it's really just a goofy thing inside my head.
Well, as somebody who is constantly called a hipster because I worked at a record store for 4 years and I wear a certain kind of style of clothing, and I'm not really a hipster. Just who cares what people think? They're gonna think it no matter what you do anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the crazy part is I would always say I don't care what people think, and I really don't, but I also do in a very real way.
I think you should care what people think to an extent because in the real world, most things you do are going to involve someone else.
Yep.
So maintaining those kind of relationships is important, and being self-aware of what you're putting out into the world and how it's being perceived is important.
Yeah.
I got way too serious for a silly conversation
No,
we're
I think
having.
that's great. I love when the conversations turn into weird, cool, philosophical things. That's
Dude,
good.
we're in two very different vibes right now. You've got your nice IPA, and I have water in a Baby Yoda cup.
Have you started watching Mandalorian too?
Oh yeah, I reviewed it on the PR Media channel. I waited until it came on at it premiered at 2:15 in the morning, and then immediately recorded and edited a review of it.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I was up to like 5:30 doing that.
Nice.
So I freaking love that show. Have you seen it?
I've seen season one. My Disney subscription is no longer active, so I'm waiting till a month or two because I'm working on some other shows and such. So,
It's only like
um,
$7. You can do it.
yeah. But I
That's
just bought this beer,
that's true. How much was the beer?
so it was $7.
Mandalorian or a liquid you'll enjoy for like 2 hours? Come
I
on,
choose
man.
the beer, man.
I don't blame you. There's a lot of content out there.
All right. So as we are wrapping up our conversation here, I want to open it up for questions. Do you guys have any questions for Parker Reed? Feel free to post a comment. Whatever you're watching on, you can post a comment. All of the comments get fed to me in a central comment funnel.
And if you don't have a ton of questions, because I already post way too much about what I'm doing, I don't blame you either. But I'll answer anything. As long as it's not about my hair. I've gotten way too many hair comments the past couple of days.
Well, you had so as people are thinking and typing their questions, you last time I saw you, which was a week ago, your hair was down to,
Yeah, right about there.
yeah,
I got 18 inches cut off total.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to change.
Okay.
And the female response from cutting the hair off has not been great. Like, I had one girl I went out on a few dates with like 2 years ago who I haven't talked to or thought of since. She commented on a picture of it, and she's like, "Where's the dislike button?" And I was like, "Okay, like, where were you when my hair was long?"
Yeah.
In the way off in the rafters somewhere. So the female response hasn't been great, but I'm just gonna lean into kind of the Chester Bennington mid 2000s look I got going on,
Yeah.
and call it good.
You know what you should do is you should shave your eyebrows too.
Dude, that's
I'm
no.
kidding.
I would look like a mental patient. Maybe for like a Halloween costume if I was like going super all in, but yeah.
Speaking of Halloween costumes, you just had some pictures posted. You dressed up as the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and you recreated some of his pictures with a photographer from Eau Claire, Trinity White. Tell me about that. How was that experience?
So I've always just kind of casually been involved with Halloween. But this year I was like, it's 2020, nothing's going on. I have nothing else to spend my money on. Just kind of get a really good Joker costume and go all out for Halloween, get some photos done. And Trinity White's a great photographer. He's been a friend of mine for the past year or so. Has done pictures for some of the Parker Reed and the Lucid Dreamers concerts this year.
Sure.
So we did that, and those stairs that we used for recreations of some of those shots, that's on the hill leading towards downtown. And I only live downtown Eau Claire, and I live a few blocks from there. So it was just kind of great. Yeah.
I understand where, by like the train tracks when you're coming down that.
Yep. It leads right up to Birch
Windy
Street.
Okay.
So we used those, and I realized that if I cut my hair down to that length, and I'm pretty thin, I could recreate that vibe pretty well. And everybody's going insane in 2020, so why not dress up like a guy who's already insane?
Yeah.
And yeah, it came out really well. That was my most liked Facebook post I've ever had.
Wow.
Yeah, like 200 likes or so on that. But yeah, I've never had that much, and I've been on Facebook for like 11 years.
Wow. Well, that was pretty cool. I honestly, when you showed me the pictures, I thought you were just showing me pictures from the movie, and I was
That's
like,
true.
I was like, yeah, I know you like movies, dude.
Yeah, it's like I was showing them because I got some of the test ones back from Trinity, and I was showing you and my friend Sam Hellman from the Overrunners and Matt Hawkins, Wildcat Hawkins, when we were shooting the video with TYB and Miles Boulevard. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. So like, what does yours look like? And I'm like, no, that's me, bro. So that's how you know it's good, when people mistake you for the actor.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
did a great job. You did a great job with them. We have two questions here. First one: did you donate the hair to Locks of Love?
I did not. Who I donated it to was a organization that kind of collaborates with Great Clips at Eau Claire. It's called Wigs for Kids. So, and they make wigs for children who have like cancer and that sort of thing. And yeah,
Cool.
that's who I donated all of it to. It's weird to get your hair in a bag and send it through the mail, though. That's
So
a
is that what they do? They give it to you
They
to?
give it to you. I thought they were gonna send it, but no, they gave it to me, and I walked out the door with 18 inches of hair in my hands.
Huh.
Yeah, it was weird.
Do you know how many wigs does that make? Is it one or?
I'm not sure. They were around closing time, and the hairdresser that I was dealing with, I don't think she was into a lot of conversation. So I just
Sure.
kind of, and they were all crying because I cut off all my hair. They're like, "You're not gonna cut all of it off, right?" I'm like, nope, sorry. I know, pour one out.
Funny. I'm trying to find. So our next question, they wanted to see the before and after. So I'm gonna grab this from your Facebook here and post
Oh
it up
God,
here.
it's pretty shocking. And if you're a female, you probably won't like it. But if my mother texted me and she was freaking out.
All right. Yep. Here's the question: where can we see these photos? Do you want to? I guess I mistook that. Maybe you wanted to see the Joker photos.
Oh,
Where can she see those? Is that
so,
Instagram public?
my Instagram is public. Yes,
Okay. And
that's just at Parker Reed one.
Parker, the number one.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Um, but yeah, the photos are fantastic. Thanks for the question. I am gonna show this before and after picture because it is quite the difference.
And I had facial
Boom.
hair too. Oh yeah, that's
Oh
kind of
yeah, the
shocking.
facial hair too.
Yeah, I like to say I had a walrus mustache because my it doesn't grow in very well in the middle, so it just kind of looks generally walrusy.
Okay, I've never heard that before.
But yeah, I kind of missed
General
it,
Walrus.
dude. Yeah, hey, I am the walrus, as the Beatles would say back in the '90s, back in the '60s.
Dory says it takes a lot of hair to make just one wig. Thanks for donating, Parker.
Hi, Dory. How you doing? We've never actually met in person, Dory and I, but we've talked many times on social media. So someday we will meet when there isn't a pandemic happening.
Cool.
Yep. By the
This
way,
has been an announcement.
yeah, so this is like your first show since the pandemic has hit pretty hard, right?
Yeah, well, so I started the show when the pandemic started because the actual Tonight Show stopped
Mm-hmm.
um, having shows, and I thought, well, if the Tonight Show's not having shows, this is the perfect time. I had an idea to do this type of thing, and I thought there's literally no better time to do a night show than now when the night shows are gone. So,
You are a better host than Jimmy Fallon, Mister. I laugh at everything. But I know, like, and like slap the table. So like, I know I wrote that article about what you've been doing since the pandemic started, but that was early on. And you're a working musician. That's what you do for a living. What have you been doing during like over the past 6 months? Because I'm sure people have who haven't just been like actively following you. I'm sure they'd like to know that.
sure. So, basically, so the reason I stopped doing the show, I actually moved to New Richmond, Wisconsin. The rest of the band is still back in Eau Claire. But my wife and I bought a house in New Richmond. She got a new job, and above the garage in the house we built, there was this gigantic open space, just wood floor and just open. And I decided that it would make a great studio space, practice space for the band. So for the last 5 6 months, I've been learning how to do carpentry and things like that, and just watching a lot of YouTube videos trying to figure that out, and basically building a studio while doing outdoor gigs. So the whole summer, the band, all of our shows got canceled. The band's shows were whole full band thing. So I was working hard over the summer playing gigs and building stuff, and now I've got this loft complete, which is why season 2 is starting again of the show, because now I have a space to do it in. And other than that, writing music, and now I'm finally getting to record it because I have a space to do that again. And so you can expect a lot more content from me again from being silent over the last few months while I was waiting for this room to be built.
Do you plan to record other artists there, or?
Yes. So I don't plan on advertising that a ton,
Mhm.
but I plan on working with artists who I either believe in, who reach out to me, or people who want to record here. Generally, anyone who wants to record here and messages me, that's great, and I would absolutely love to. I've recorded a few people at the old spot. So yes, I do plan on recording people here, but I'm not seeking that type of business out. But I do want that type of business. If that does that make sense?
You don't want to overly put it out there and say that's all you're doing. You want to have it primarily be your own, but share it with some other people.
Right. It's like a side project. So I want to focus on my music, but I would also love to engineer and for example, if you wanted to come record here, that would be amazing. That would be a blast. And it's a space where we can make some great music, and I have all the capabilities of any of doing drums and that type of thing. So yeah, I'm super open to having people come in and jam and record and all that stuff here.
Does the studio have a name yet?
Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah,
How about now?
I can still hear you for the.
Okay. So it doesn't have a name yet. Could just call it Nick Anderson Studio. I'm just kidding.
No, you can't just call everything Nick Anderson. We know you have your brand. It's the hat, it's the glasses, and the name. But something creative. You'll figure something out.
What about not Nick Anderson Studio?
But then that's just false advertising. And then you can get into legal trouble. I'm sure you don't want that.
What about Thinking Man Studio?
Hmm.
Because I got that Thinking Man behind me.
Well, then that just makes you sound like more of a hipster. It's like an art thing. And if you want to,
but I'm not. I don't care what anyone thinks, though.
Yes, you do. You just said
that's what you told. You told me I shouldn't, though.
I told you should to a certain extent.
Oh, so this. Let's see here. After reviewing pictures, you actually met on Halloween.
What?
June Nadine says, "Wow, after reviewing pictures, we actually met on Halloween."
Huh. Where did we meet, Jew? Tell me where, because
he's not buying it.
Who's not buying what?
You're not buying it. He's like, I don't know if we met.
I'm horrible with remembering people, and names. That's one of my faults. So that certainly could have happened, but I don't know if maybe it was somebody else.
My lovely wife is calling me out, by the way. This episode should be titled Parker Reed Interviews Nick Anderson.
I like knowing aspects of Nick Anderson's life. I don't know.
You know what? Sierra Anderson, whoever you are, I think that there's been good talk on both sides. And
that's true.
I only prepared enough questions for what I've already asked.
She should be sending me a thank you because we're trying to get to the root of some of your inner thoughts. Maybe that can help.
It's going to take a lot of episodes to get to that.
That's one of the reasons I enjoy your music, because you have like straight up fun songs like 4 a.m. and King and Queen, but then you have some deeper songs that I really enjoy as well. Like, what was the track? I Can't Breathe. Like, there it is. Like some of them that go a little bit deeper, and songs like Reflections and Longing show that there's a lot of depth to your music. And yeah, it's pretty great.
Cool. Thanks.
Cool, man.
Well, we're going to wrap this up here pretty shortly. Sierra says she's enjoying it, so that's good.
Sweet.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. This was a lot of fun. I know it wasn't super,
Nope, do not put yourself down. It was great.
But it was a great first episode, and I was so happy to talk to you. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I enjoyed my beer. So, it's a great night. And if all the viewers out there, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the show, please share this post. It does post after we finish as a actual just video. Post that. And if you know anyone who wants to be on the show, send me a message. I love talking to people. And if you know of anyone who wants to endorse something on the show, or put a product, or advertise a new album or song or anything, or even your own show, just message me on whatever platform you're watching, and for just $10 for the first episode, I'll talk about your stuff. So yeah, anything else you wanted to add to tonight's show, Parker?
If you want to see Nick and I together, I was in their music video for their song Run. So check out Nick Anderson's Skinny Lovers music video for Run. And check us out in a future music video for Miles Boulevard and TYB, and see Nick's sick ass dance moves, because he was the best dancer of our little group we had in there.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I did do my best.
You got out there, and danced to the camera. It was entertaining.
Good, good. All right. Well, great talking to you, Parker. You have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Bye. Well, all right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of what was previously the Wednesday night show starring Nick Anderson and is now the Nick Anderson Show. We played the theme song at the beginning of the episode, and we're going to play it again on our way out here, and it is the last time that you'll see this theme song on this show, as we are changing the name of the show. Next week we'll have a brand new theme song, we'll have a brand new guest, and we'll have a full beer. It's always a pleasure. We hope you enjoy the show, and we'll see you again next time. All right. Have a good one.